Hello and welcome to Massive Crit. I recently played in a small tournament at one of my friendly local gaming stores and I came third, which is not too bad. Third place is respectable, but the problem is there's no prize for third place, but there was a prize for best painted. And it came down to my team and a team from another guy's, and there was much deliberation on the topic, but in the end they couldn't really decide who had the best paint job, and it came down to the bases, and my bases let me down and the other guy won. But that's okay, I took it well, seeing it as constructive criticism and a chance to reflect on how to do better. Let's take a look at what they were on about and have a look at some of my completed kill teams. Alright, fair enough. There's a lot of sandy bases there. Maybe I can mix it up a bit. In this video, I'm going to scratch build some GallowDark bases. I was playing the Fallen Legionary at the time, so let's pop them off their bases, clean them up, and get them ready for the GallowDark. The materials I'm going to use is some thin foam sheets, cable ties, and some mesh pads for drainage for potted plants. I start by cutting up a mesh pad to see where it takes me. I want to start with something easy and get more into it as I go on. Once the mesh pad has been cut to size, I measure up some cable ties to see what I can create. Keeping it simple, I mix and match the mesh with the cable ties to make different looking bases, and I'm pretty happy with the result. Instead of measuring everything up precisely before I glue it down, I let the pieces overhang the base, thinking it easier to trim them down once they are dry. With some simple bases completed, I now look to add some of the thin polystyrene sheets to mix the patterns up a bit to more emulate the GallowDark theme. It proved easy enough. I first used the base as a template to draw around with a pencil to get the shape needed, before simply just cutting out the circle with a pair of scissors. Wanting the template to serve 3 bases, I first measured and cut the circle in half, keeping one of the halves but cutting the other to create 2 quarters. It was then a simple case of gluing the other components in place, allowing for the superglue to dry before using PVA glue to secure the polystyrene in place. It then seemed a simple case of cutting away the excess materials, but unfortunately, when using my clippers, I found it loosened some of the superglued parts, making it necessary to fix them back into place. I think in retrospect it would have been better to cut them to size initially to save faffing around with this step. Onto the painting step, I primed the bases black, but not with the rattle can, because the rattle can will just melt the polystyrene. I then used typhus corrosion in some select places to give that weathered look. To match the style I painted my GallowDark terrain, I began with an overbrush of tinny tin. I then dabbed some riser rust over the places I hit with typhus corrosion, and yes, I know riser rust is out of production, but any fiery orange will do. I then hit the base with a dry brush of trash metal, but any metallic will do. Maybe Ironbreaker would be a GW equivalent. To finish off, I dabbed the flat polystyrene areas with Incubi Darkness. And here we are with the end result. Do they look good? Yeah, I think so. They took a lot of time though. In retrospect, I think I'm just going to buy the GW ones. It's going to be much easier. They look a little better, to be fair. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way these turned out. And there we have it. GallowDark bases in under 5 minutes. Until next time, may you always crit massive. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.